Happy Christmas Eve, everyone. The Steam Winter Sale is live, which means a ton of great games are at their lowest price of the year. If you've been looking to pick up something new over the holidays, this is usually the best time to do it. So today, I'm going to go over games I'm buying, the ones I'm actively playing, and the ones I think you should absolutely take advantage of, especially if you're into RPGs, base building, management, and strategy games. Before we jump into the list, if you like the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. It is a huge help. And also check out our game, Winterreach Emporium, in the description below. And let's get started. First on the list is Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. It is $19.99, which is a 60% sale. Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader is a full CRPG set in a grimdark future, but it plays a lot like a classic party-based RPG. You're building a crew, managing a massive void ship, making moral decisions that actually matter, and deciding how brutal or merciful you want to be. The writing is surprisingly strong, the companions are memorable, and the setting carries real weight. It's dense, but it's still approachable. If you like narrative-heavy RPGs at 60% off, this is a great way to jump into a modern Warhammer RPG. This is a game I was looking forward to going on sale, and I will be purchasing and playing it. But if you want something just as deep, but even more mechanically intense, this one goes all in. Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous is only $5.99 at 70% off. Wrath of the Righteous is one of the deepest RPGs on Steam, full stop. You've got insane build variety, mythic paths that completely change your story, and a full crusade management system layered on top. This is a game that rewards planning and experimentation, and it absolutely does not hold your hand. You could easily put hundreds of hours into it. And for $6, that's honestly ridiculous value. If that sounds a little overwhelming and you want something more flexible and creative, this next RPG is a classic for a reason. With the announcement of Divinity 3, Divinity Original Sin 2 is a great jumping off point at $11.24. It is 75% off. Divinity Original Sin 2 is one of the best RPGs ever made. The combat rewards creativity, the systems encourage experimentation instead of rigid builds, and the writing holds up incredibly well. Co-op makes it even better, but it's just as strong solo. This game laid the groundwork for Baldur's Gate 3, and at 75% off, it's one of those games everyone should own. I absolutely recommend this game, and it is one of my favorite games of all time. All right, and we're all done with the RPGs. We're going to move into some games that we can build things and manage them. First up, we have Mind Over Magic at $17.49. It's only 30% off, but it's a relatively new game. Mind Over Magic is a wizard school management game where everything is constantly on the verge of disaster. You'll build vertically, train mages, manage resources, and deal with magical catastrophes that can spiral out of control. It is part colony sim and part dungeon manager, and it's still getting regular updates. If you enjoy system-driven chaos, this one is a lot of fun. I can't recommend this game more. It was actually one of the inspirations for our game, Winterreach Emporium, and I'm glad everybody will get to play this now that it's on sale. If you like systems interacting in chaotic ways, this next game turns that dial all the way up. Oxygen, not included at $7.49, 70% off, is a game that I have not played, but I could not wait for it to go on sale. Oxygen Not Included is one of the most satisfying and punishing base building games ever made. You're managing oxygen, heat, power, plumbing, and stress, all while your colonists slowly try to suffocate themselves. Every solution creates new problems, and that's what makes it so addictive. At $7, this is one of the best deals in the entire sale. I can't recommend this more. And if you want to scale, like real scale, this one takes base building to another level. Song of Sticks at $18.74. It is only 25% off, but it is a massive game. For people who wanted to play Dwarf Fortress but could not understand the game, Song of Sticks is a city builder on a massive scale. You're not managing dozens of civilians, you're managing thousands. Supply chains, armies, politics, and social classes all matter. It's a little intimidating at first, but incredibly rewarding once it clicks. If you want a city builder that actually feels epic, this one is special. Now, let's go over to full-scale management games. Workers and Resources Soviet Republic is $9.99. It is 75% off. This is my favorite city builder of all time, I would have to say. Workers and Resources is one of the most hardcore management games on Steam. You're building an entire planned economy, transportation, power, grids, houses, and production chains. And the game expects you to understand how everything works. It's unforgiving, complex, and incredibly satisfying when it all comes together. At $10, this is a steal if you love deep systems. If that sounds a bit intense, the next game trades spreadsheets for moral dilemmas. Frostpunk 2 is $26.99. It is 40% off. Frostpunk 2 expands the original into something much larger. Instead of just surviving, you're governing a society under impossible conditions. Political factions, laws, and long-term consequences matter more than ever. The tone is bleak, the choices are unforgivable, and 40% off makes this a much easier recommend. And if you want something more personal and story-driven, this next one does something genuinely different. The Altars, $24.39, it is 30% off. This is a really unique game that I could not wait to play, and now it is on sale, I will be getting it. The Altars is a survival management game with really unique hook. You create an alternate version of yourself, each with different skills, personalities, and emotional baggage. Managing the base is only half the challenge. Managing your altars is where things get interesting. It's part survival game, part narrative experiment, and it's doing something genuinely new. I can't recommend this enough. I will be purchasing this ASAP. Alright, let's finish strong with some strategy games that will absolutely ruin your free time. First up is Crusader Kings 3 at $14.99, which is a 70% off sale. Don't let this fool you, there is still lots of DLC that will cost you money, but the base game is on a good sale. Crusader Kings 3 is less about winning and more about stories. You're managing a dynasty, marriages, betrayals, succession crisis, and the game constantly throws chaos at you. It's one of the most accessible grand strategy games Paradox has ever made while still being incredibly deep. At 70% off, this is a perfect time to jump in. If you want less political drama and more giant fantasy armies smashing into each other, the next one is an easy pick. Total War Warhammer 3 is $14.99, which is a 75% sale. Total War Warhammer 3 mixes massive real-time battles with turn-based empire management in one of the most over-the-top fantasy settings ever made. If you own the trilogy, Immortal Empires alone can eat out hundreds of hours. $15 for this much content is wild. And finally, if you like strategy that actively hates you, let's talk about a classic. XCOM 2 is $5.99 at 90% off. This is a great deal, and I've been waiting for this to go on sale to buy it. XCOM 2 is a tactical pain in the best way possible. Every decision matters, soldiers die permanently, and the tension never really lets up. Mods add near infinite replayability. At 90% off, this is one of the best strategy deals you can buy, period. Lastly but not leastly, I'd like to show our game Winterreach Emporium. It is a fantasy ski shop management game coming out in January or February. Please, if you enjoy these videos, one of the biggest things you guys can do is go wishlist the game, even if you're not going to buy it. It is a huge help. So please, in the description is the link. Give it a wishlist. It won't be out during the winter sale, but while you're on Steam, you might as well wishlist it. So those are the games I'm buying, playing, and recommending during the Steam winter sale. If you've been waiting for the right time to pick something up, this is usually it. A lot of these are either at their lowest price or close to it. Let me know what you're grabbing during the sale, or if there's anything you think I missed. And if this helped you find something new to play over the holidays, consider liking the video and subscribing. Thanks for hanging out, enjoy the sale, and I'll see you in the next one.